Hey guys, happy Sunday. So if you're expecting a ride along video today, I'm afraid that's not happening. You know, real life, real family, rolling with it, right? I needed to get a lot done in my yard today, watering and whatnot. We have this heat wave happening right now, really aggravating. And my peaches and tomatoes desperately needed bottling, so I'm working on that with my awesome dumpster apron, getting all that sorted out today. But let's talk about the very last of our 5 W's of dumpster diving basics. We can at least satisfy the dumpster need with that. All right, so the final one is what? And the what is for what after or what next. So you've gone and you've figured out where you're gonna dive, when you're gonna dive, what you're diving for, like what kind of items, and you've figured out your purpose, why you're doing this in the first place. You've got all of that figured out, and that's wonderful, fabulous. Now what? Well, you and your partner have gone diving, or you went by yourself or with your kids or whatever, or you charged people $5 to come with you, whatever. Hey, that's not a bad idea. It's really not a bad idea. I'm gonna have to think about that one. Okay, anyway, logging that away. So you went, your van or truck or little teeny tiny Geo Metro is full of all kinds of fabulous finds and discoveries, and you're saving the world and it's wonderful. Now what do? Well, you need to get the stuff out of your car. That's step one. So where are you going to put it? Figure out where you're going to put it. You need to process it, get rid of all the junk. Figure out what things you need for yourself, things that you can use and will use in your home. What things do you want to donate, or do you want to donate all of it? Do you want to sell some of it? Okay, awesome. Now you got to figure out what it's worth and figure out what's the best avenue for selling it. Is it something that's going to go in a yard sale or on Craigslist or on eBay, Amazon, whatever? Figure that out. That's going to take research. In the meantime, you need to get it organized so that you know where the stuff is when it's time to sell it, or when it sells so that you can ship it or move it along. And you need to have a place to put all this so that it's not messing up your everyday life. You don't want to have it not being able to walk anywhere and having to have little trails through all of your treasures, okay? That's no good. We don't want it doing that to your life. That's no. So figure out where it's going to go. Have an organization system. If it's going to be donated, try to get a load of donation stuff together so that you're not wasting gas and time getting it to the donation place, all right? So where can you put the stuff whilst you're, building up enough to make the trip worthwhile? Do you have someone that will come and pick it up? In our area, we have Deseret Industries and Multiple Sclerosis Foundation. They will actually come to your home and pick the stuff up if you schedule a pickup. So see if those options are available. Then you don't even have to worry about that. Just, have the stuff there on the porch. Give them a call. If you're going to sell it, you need to do research. What is this item? What's its history? What's it worth? What does it do? If you've watched my other videos, which I hope you have, and if you haven't, there's lots of them. You can binge watch for hours and I won't mind. But a lot of things that I find, I have no idea what they are. Now, if you're diving retail, you're probably not going to have that, that kind of issue nearly as often, because a lot of things will still be in the packages. Might even have, instruction manuals. Awesome. But if you're doing what I do, you're going to find all kinds of wacky stuff. I mean, there has been some weird stuff. Watch the videos. You'll see. So you need to do some research. What the heck is this gizmo? What's it for? Who uses this? And why would someone want this? Or would they want it? Or should it just be scrapped? Or what? What can I do with this? If it's broken, can I fix it? Can I upcycle it? Can I refurbish it? Is this something I could make into a craft? Do I need to look at Pinterest or Google it or whatever? What other options are there for this item? You've got a lot of homework to do, okay? So keep that in mind. That is important. You need to know that, and I think I've mentioned it from the start, that it's not just finding fabulous treasures. There is so much more if you're going to take this on full time. There is a lot to do, and every step is important. Every one of the 5 W's is vital, okay? You need to figure all of these things out, and ideally before you jump in. That's just, I mean, word to the wise. I've had to learn that, you know, over 10 years. Learn these things the hard way and the messy way and the cluttered way and the crazy way and the fighting, you know, with my husband way. I've had to learn all this. Hopefully you're benefiting from my crazy experiences and disasters. So get those things set up so that you'll be prepared after you have all this stuff. You know where it's going to go. It has a path. Hey guys, shh. My babies. Get those things figured out, and now move forward. Now, one of the biggest things that you can run into is burnout. You get overwhelmed. You've got mountains and mountains and mountains of stuff, and I am actually a little bit at that point myself. It's, you know, the season is over, and now I've got to get my yard sale put together, but I'm also back in school now. The kids are back in school now, and I've got all these things that need to get going on eBay, that need to get, you know, into the yard sale, that all of this at the same time that all my fruit and vegetables are coming on, and so it's a lot at once. But for me, that doesn't really happen till like the end of the season. If you aren't prepared and have your systems in place, that's going to happen day one. When there's a pile of stuff on your porch or in your front room or in your office or your kitchen or whatever, and there's this pile of awesome stuff and it's driving you crazy. It was really cool when you found it, but now you can't sit down to dinner because, you know, all this stuff. That can happen very easily, very quickly. You can get overwhelmed, burned out, and you're just like, forget it. This is nonsense. This is madness. Well, it doesn't have to be that way, all right? Be prepared from the beginning. Have your systems in place, and then stay on top of it. Now, that's easier said than done. I've got a tote, as you can see behind me, that green plastic tote full of the cups that I showed you the other day. I've still got to get all of those put away. It's one tote, you know. I'm feeling pretty good about that. One tote, unless you're like, you know, a perfectionist, neat freak minimalist, it's not going to bother you terribly much, and it's not going to disrupt your life horribly. Now, boxes all over the place, bags, whatever, it will drive you insane and your family, and you just don't want that, okay? So don't let it get to a burnout stage. And if you need to take a break for a season, do it. That's fine. I've had some summers where I would go 2 or 3 times a month max, and that was like to 2 or 3 bins. I know, can you imagine? Only that? Okay. Because I had just so many other things going on, and I just didn't have room on my plate for more. All right, so balance it. You know, figure out how much is enough for you and how much is too much and how much is too little. Figure those things out, and then stay on top of it. Be consistent. You've seen throughout this summer, every Sunday, I'm out there diving, I'm out there diving, I'm out there diving. Then throughout the week, we've seen I sort it and then I put it away. Sort and put away, sort and put away. You've got to be consistent. You've got to stay on top of it. Do the best that you can. It won't be perfect, all right? It won't. And there will be things, and you've seen this, where it's something that I've shown you guys like a month and a half ago, and I'm just now in the update video showing you that I finally washed it. Okay? But that's because this is real life, right? I have 3 kids, you know, you're real people, I'm a real person, but you do the best that you can to avoid the burnout. But the most important thing, and this is vital, and this is going to have to be just for you and come from you, because it's most likely not going to come from anyone else. You have to be patient with yourself, and you have to forgive yourself when you don't stay on top of it, when you're not consistent, and when you have a whole box of cups and vases and whatever, and they've been there for 4 weeks and they're still not washed or sorted or put away. You have to say, okay, it's all right. I haven't gotten to it, but guess what? I did the laundry and the dishes and mowed the lawn, and my kids ate food, and all right, Focus on the positive and the things that you did get done. Guys, stop fighting or I take the M&M blanket away. Real life. So, focus on the positive and stay positive. And keep reminding yourself of those whys from the why video. If you haven't watched the why video, watch it. It's important. It's one of the most important things, okay? Keep remembering why it is that you're doing it. We are saving to go to Disneyland when I graduate in the spring. That is my motivation. And sometimes I will chant to myself, Mickey Mouse, Mickey Mouse. I have to, okay? That's what keeps me going. After I finish bottling today, I will be working on homework. There's a lot to do. Be patient with yourself. Forgive yourself. Understand that you're a real person, all right? And it's just not always gonna go perfectly. Some of the things that you will find, because you didn't store them properly or you didn't clean them right away or you left them outside and it rained, been there, done all of that, okay? And now they're ruined. And you climbed into a stinky, horrible bin and those treasures that you found are ruined now. Oh, just a sec. Sorry, had to sort out the kids. So, anyways, be forgiving. Other people might not be, and that's all right. Just do the best that you can. Your spouse or partner or children or parents or whomever it is that you share your happy life with, they might not be as forgiving. So do your best to stay on top of it. Do your best to be consistent. But again, remember, it's real life and you've got to be able to roll with it. You've got to be able to just chillax and, you know, deal. All right? So, most important things of our 5th W, which is what after, what next, have systems in place, be consistent, get things moving, stay on top of it, figure out where they are going, and then get them there, all right? One other aspect that we'll cover before I sign off is you need to figure out, and we've talked a little bit about this, but when I say what after, I don't just mean right after the pick or right after the sort or whatever, but further on, all right? These are other things that you need to figure out. You know, when do I stop? We've talked a little bit about this, but if you haven't watched all of the 5 W's, which you should, you might not have heard this yet, but you need to figure out how long you're doing this for, because that will help you to put the appropriate systems in place. If this is something you're going to do for the rest of your life, you want kind of a permanent setup for after. I have a shed and an attic, and you know, I have all the things that I need. I've made investments and will continue making investments for this lifetime pursuit. All right, you know, having scales for, you know, getting stuff ready to mail, and you know, having lots of shipping supplies and having totes and, you know, getting things organized and all this kind of thing. I have things in place that I've invested in because this is a long-term thing for me. It might not be a long-term thing for you, and if it isn't a long-term thing, you don't want to invest lots of money into organizational supplies and shipping supplies and all this when you're only doing it for this one summer to save up for that trip to Maui or whatever. Keep that in mind. You're trying to earn money, or maybe you're not, maybe you're just trying to save the world, and that's great too. But if you're just trying to, you know, earn money for one specific thing, or this is just something I'm going to try out on a whim, I'm bored, you know, I want to do something, okay, keep that in mind, because you don't want to waste all that money that you're earning on systems and organization and tools if this is a very temporary thing. So keep that in mind. That is vital. That is important. You need to have a goal in mind. You know, what am I doing? Now, broad goals, they're helpful, but not as much as little short-term goals. Okay, is that I want to save the world. Well, wonderful. I wish everyone did, but try to break that down. You know, what is it that, you know, specifically, get it more specific. And what will that be? I don't know. I don't know. I want to commit 4 weeks of my life to salvaging as much as possible. Okay, great, awesome. Or, I don't know, come up with something, all right? You guys are creative. You'll think of something. If Eco warrior is your frame of mind. What specifically are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to influence people? Well, then do that. You don't need a whole lot of tools or whatever for influencing people. You just need to bring them along, charge them that $5. But anyway, have specific goals in mind. If you're trying to save money, okay, great. What are you saving it for and how much do you need? And once you have reached that goal, do you want to continue? Now, the goal that you start with and those little goals that you're starting with and you're going along and the plan that you have in place at first is subject to change, and it might. And that's totally fine. And once it does, if you get hooked and you're like, yes, this is it. I love the adrenaline. I love saving stuff. I love earning money. Whatever. I love being down in the depths of the yuck. It's awesome. And you want to just keep going. Wonderful. Get used to it first. Get a real good feel for the good, the bad, and the ugly of it before you start investing those earnings into tools and systems and stuff like that. Because I don't know how many times I've gotten into something. I'm very ADD, you may have suspected, and I have a short attention span, and I bounce from thing to thing, and I get really interested in something and even obsessed with something, and I have a tendency to just go full bore into that thing or person or whatever, right? And so many times I've had to learn the lesson that you need to take your time, get some experience, figure out how it's going to go, get real world feel of whatever it is or whoever it is before you start investing. Because you might put everything, your heart, your soul, and your bank account into something and then, oh my goodness sake, no, this is not for me. I don't want this. And then what, So that's vital. All right. But remember that it is subject to change and you got to be able to roll with it. And I think that's probably the biggest and best and most important word of wisdom and advice that I can give you out of all of our 5 W's and this series as we're wrapping it up is be able to roll with it. There are going to be times when you're out there spending your entire day going from bin to bin to bin and you are finding nothing but fish heads and paper plates, all right? Used ones. And it's miserable and you just wasted half a tank of gas and you're hot and you're sweaty and stinky and you have nothing to show for it. And that will happen. There will be times when you find mountains and loads and heaps of stuff and it takes you 3 weeks to get through all of it. And that's awesome and it's exciting. There will be times when people insult you and what it is that you're trying to do and they don't understand and people are rude and people are stupid and ignorant and that will happen. And there will be times that people are so excited and want to tag along and drive you crazy. And anyway, there is so much that's going to happen. You've got to be able to roll with it. And I'm telling you this just as much as I'm telling me this, as I am a little overwhelmed right now and there's so much going on, so much to do. I'm telling both of us, all of us this, reminding us you need to be able to just all right, and roll with it. Adapt and survive and keep going. All right, that's all I've got for our W's. If you haven't watched all of them, please do. They are in a playlist conveniently for your viewing pleasure. The 5 W's, Dumpster Diving Basics for Beginners. Please check them out. I will catch you all later. I've got bottling to do and watering to do and homework to do. Thank you so much for watching. To our new viewers, welcome. We're so glad to have you. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.